Hi guys, Totallydubbed here, and today I'm doing a video review on the One More stylish True Wireless earphones. And yes, that is actually their name. I'm not making it up or trying to be any sort of marketing. Now, bear in mind, I've gotten this review sample a few weeks back, so thank you for One More for actually sending this out. But no, this is not a sponsored paid review of any sort. It's purely honest, and you'll probably see why in just a second. Now, the earphones can be found for around £80 in the UK, whilst in the US can be found for around $100. At that price point, I'm really impressed to see One More coming at this cheaper end of the scale, given that it's built quite a sort of reputation now. They could easily charge a lot more money, but props to One More for coming at more of the budget end of the scale, especially when it comes to true wireless earbuds. Now, in this review, I'll be comparing them to the Creative Outlier Air, which I reviewed. Make sure you check in the description below for all the links, reviews to other earbuds that I've done, and also the links to the One More earphones. Now, within the package, what you'll find is a little pouch, which is very unlikely from all other manufacturers. It's a see-through pouch, and yes, you can do this with it. I just quite like it because you can put all your accessories in them. Now, in terms of accessories, you get extra O-rings or ear hooks, silicone ones that is, silicone ear tips as well, medium and large, alongside the medium ones that you already get, and a micro USB to USB-A cable with a flat cable design. As you can see, I haven't even taken it out and actually used it. Now, the charging case itself is made out of plastic. It's pretty small and pretty easy to put in your pocket. It's not bulky of any sort, and it's got nice smooth edges, which means that it'll slip in and out of your pocket really easily. It seems very trivial to say this, but you know, they're made to go on the go, and some manufacturers choose a really bulky sort of design. Now, unfortunately, it is using a micro USB connector. However, it does still accept a faster charging. So a fast charge will give you a little bit of extra sort of run time that you can have if you just want to pop them in, charge them, and then take them out for a couple of hours. You'll be fine. Total battery life of the earphones themselves is 6.5 hours on a single charge, whilst the case provides an additional around 20 hours of additional charge. Now, One More are not really clear with this because they say the case provides 3 additional charges. In terms of maths, it doesn't quite add up to the 24 hours of total playback time that they've marketed the earphones and the case to have. But regardless of maths or even potentially my logic, you know, just expect around 24 hours of overall playback, 24 to 26 hours of overall playback with both of them, with 6.5 hours of these alone. Now, in terms of the design of the earphones, I've got no complaints. I've got just the plain black version, but they do come in other more alluring colours or stylish colours. I know, you can see what I did there. Personally, not to my preference, but you know, everyone's different. They've got pink, gold colour, for example, which you know might suit some people out there. So props to One More for actually doing that, because not many manufacturers actually offer different colour variations. It's usually just black or silver or something like that, and that's it. So props to One More for actually you know, appealing to a wider market potentially. Now, the earphones themselves are pretty comfortable, so putting them in my ear, what you can see over here is that they do stick out just a little bit, but I really do like the design of them. They're very much sturdy, and I would have absolutely no problems doing physical activities with them, which is not the same thing I could have said with the Outlier Air that I've got. So the creative ones, I would feel that they would fall out if I'm doing intense activities. They don't have over-the-ear hooks, but those little O-ring that sits kind of within your ear does actually hold really tightly. And when I did a bit of running with them, I felt that they did a fantastic job in this respect. So again, no complaints in terms of overall design and comfort, but again, your mileage may vary. Not everyone's ears are completely different, so just bear that in mind. And in terms of the ear tips themselves, again, not like the Creatives, they don't have a shallow tip. It's very much a very normal ear tip. So again, more people will be accustomed to this type of design going in your ear. In terms of the Bluetooth connectivity, I'm very much impressed in this respect, because they have Bluetooth AAC, SBC and aptX codec out of the box, which means that you're going to get a very good quality transmission to your source, aka your phone, and you're not going to be losing that much in terms of audio quality versus your wired earphones, for example. Better still, in terms of wireless range, in terms of wireless connectivity, they're actually fantastic. I did have, and I will be very honest, I did have a few problems at first, but that was actually due to the pairing process. Essentially, when you pair them, you need to have a secondary pairing request for the secondary driver, and once that pairing request is done successfully, these earphones were absolutely fantastic. So I had no problems in terms of this. Wireless range is 10 to 15 meters through walls, which is perfectly acceptable and suits with all other true wireless earbuds, so it's pretty much on par, if not a little bit better. But the pièce de résistance, I would say, is the fact that these earphones can be used independently from each other. Now, what I mean by this is that I could have them both out at the same time, I can have one out at the same time, or I can have the other one out at the same time. Not one or the other is the master or slave driver, they're both equivalent. Now, the way that One More actually said this to me is that when you take them out of the case, for example, if you took the right one out of the case for an extra hour, and then you took the left one out of the case, if the left one or the right one, or whichever side it is, had 30% less battery life than the other, it would then become the master driver. And you might be wondering, why on earth would you want that? Well, simply, if the other driver were to lose connectivity, you're still going to be listening to your music on one ear, which is fantastic. And the way this seamlessly works when I'm popping it in its case and taking them out, I tried a variety of different combinations, almost trying to make it fail, and my God, it didn't fail in any way, and I was so impressed and very happy to see this with these earphones. No other earphones I've come across provide this sort of functionality and are so seamless in terms of connectivity to your phone and disconnecting / reconnecting, be it from themselves, as in pairing from left and right driver, to having one using in a mono mode to a stereo mode, or one running out of battery life. So One More, you've done a fantastic job in this respect, so props to you. But now let's talk about the most important part, and that's the sound quality. Now at £80, I wasn't expecting the world from them, but I was happy to see that aptX codec was picked up by my phone and was actually working flawlessly in terms of giving me the best quality transmission, or among the best quality transmissions I can get via Bluetooth. And in here, I was very much surprised to see that the earphones had a very much warm sounding sound signature. They're very much accustomed to the mid-bass and the lower end of the spectrum rather than the mid-range, which in comparison to the Creative Outlier Air really did show their kind of flaws. They weren't as refined, not as open, not as spacious sounding as the Creative Outlier Air. Instead, the One More earphones over here had a sort of warm sound, punchy, fun sounds, but then had a recessed mid-range that wasn't that accurate. Also, due to the design, they're not as big and not as bulky, and yes, therefore, yes, they will stick better if you're doing physical activities. They didn't sound as spacious because the instrument separation was a little bit more closed and the sound was more congested. So that's what I would say in terms of comparing it with the Creative Outlier Air. Still, the Creative Outlier Air in this sort of domain, and even under this sub £200 range, you know, far outclasses the One More earphones. However, that's not to say these are bad. Far, far from it. So in terms of the bass, you know, mid bass was punchy, a little bit uncontrolled, a little bit wobbly at times. The sub bass extended pretty well, had a nice sort of extension and low end. The mids were recessed, were pushed back, but you did get perfectly accurate sort of sounds. You didn't have a weird like spike or dip in any way in the mid range. The highs do extend, but are rolled off at the top end, still giving you that sparkle, that sort of excitement in your sound, in your music. And then in terms of the overall sound stage itself, as I said, a little bit more close sounding. So overall, in terms of sound quality, they're not amazing. They're not, wow, these really will blow you away. But for £80, you're like, well, actually, they're not bad. The only problem I think it has, and really that kind of want to wrap up this review, is the fact that the Creative Outlier Air provide a better sound quality and yet cost £75, so pretty much equivalent in terms of pricing wise. In the US, however, they're more expensive. They're $120 versus $100 that you pay on the One More. So really it boils down to what you really want. If you want earphones that are made for sports and made for, you know, decent sound quality and have got fantastic wireless connectivity, then the One More would be my pick. If, however, you want purely audio quality, and that's something I would pick, I would choose the Creative Outlier Air instead. So yes, absolutely, I would still recommend these One More earphones, but they're not going to change my daily drivers from the Creative Outlier Air. And by that I mean, you know, yes, they won't sound as good as the Sennheisers, which cost, you know, 3 to 4 times the price, but for the price of £80, you're getting a hell of a bargain. So that's pretty much it. One thing I did forget whilst I was holding them is they do have physical buttons. They're very easy to press, and unlike the Creatives, they come on the side, which makes it less of a noise within your ear. But other than that, you get play, pause, answer, receive call function, and they've got microphone built in so you can answer calls, and which was perfectly acceptable in terms of call quality. Just bear in mind, it's never going to replicate your phone in terms of audio recording quality. So that's about it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. If you have, make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe. As I said, this has been a sponsored, unpaid, unbiased review. As always, favorite and share and subscribe will always help the channel grow. Alright guys, I'm totally done. Take care and bye-bye.